evening, everyone.
Evening.
Thank you for attending our annual financial literacy series. My name is Kriston Moore. I'm the current president of CFA Society of the Bahamas. Due to the pandemic, this is actually the first financial literacy series that we've done in person since, I think, 2019. So it's very good to have everyone here. Thank you for coming. Before we get started, I do want to ask everyone if you can please silence your phones, just in the event it rings. This event is being recorded, so we'd like you to do that if possible. For those who are new or maybe unfamiliar, just give me a moment to explain who we are. CFA Institute is the global association of investment professionals that sets the standard for professional excellence and credentials. The mission of CFA Institute is served by generating value for investment management professionals and engaging with the investment industry to advance ethics, market integrity, and professional standards of practice, which collectively contributes to society. CFA Society of the Bahamas is an organization of local and financial investment professionals, most of who hold or are pursuing the CFA charter. Our mission is to lead the Bahamas investment industry by promoting ethics, building awareness, and fostering education in the local community. If you need more information, you can visit our website at cfasociety.org/Bahamas. So moving on to tonight, allow me to introduce our speaker for tonight, Mrs. Shell Stubbs. Mrs. Shell Stubbs is a banker and entrepreneur who's invested 30 plus years in the financial services industry. She spent more than 25 years across various positions at Citibank and Scotia as Vice President of Alternative Investments and Director of Compliance. Mrs. Stubbs most recently has consulted in the financial services sector with clients such as Deltec Bank and Trust and Ansbacher. She has also served on various boards, including the Central Bank and Alive. She holds a bachelor's degree in finance and accounting from Pace University, New York, an MBA from the University of Miami, and a master's of law in international taxation from Thomas Jefferson School of Law, San Diego. She is an accredited trust and estate planner and a chartered risk analyst, certified anti-money laundering consultant, and in recent years has also been a CFA Level 3 candidate. She is an adjunct lecturer at the University of the Bahamas, where her focus is on the core subjects of investments, credit analysis, and finance for university students. She routinely advises national, civic, and church organizations in the areas of personal finance and is active in community service and mentoring. She currently serves as the membership chair of CFA Society of the Bahamas. With that being said, she'll be discussing the topic Personal Finance 101, where she will speak on budgeting, saving, and other useful topics that we hope will be beneficial. So without further ado, please enjoy and feel free to ask questions. And Mr. Shell Stubbs.
So clap me up. So good to see all of you here, and we are here to discuss one of my favorite topics, money. And I'm sure you're here because you're interested. Money is one of those things that we all need, cannot do without. And so the more we learn about it, the better it is for us. So tonight is going to be interesting. I'm going to give my perspective, and I want you to feel free to ask questions, give your perspective, your good ideas, things that you've experienced and learned from. And so personal finances actually is, the reason we talk about it is because we really want to be financially secure. And I know sometimes we think, oh my God, that's such a daunting task. How could I be financially secure? How do I get from where I am to where I want to be? And so a lot of times we feel like, can I even do it? It's such a big burden. There's so much to think about. There's so much to do. And so if you're feeling that, it's okay. It really is. Because it is a big task. But the first thing we're going to do tonight is figure out where we are and where we want to go. And maybe we need a map for that. Maybe we need a GPS. But hopefully we'll learn some things tonight to help us get from point A to point B. So when we leave here tonight, we're hoping that you can have some ideas about how you could be more financially secure. So there's a few points that I'm going to go through. The first one is be the massive financial literacy. So I want you to congratulate yourself for being here. This is a financial literacy next 3 weeks, actually, seminars that we put on for persons to come and understand more and learn more. So you are the first one talking about personal finances. So, tell your neighbor, congratulations, you made it. You're here. You're here. You're here. So you're already starting to master your financial literacy education. So why this is important is because you need to know where you are and where you're going. And a lot of times we don't do well with stuff because we don't know. We have not learned. No one's taught us. Who taught us about money? We don't learn that in school. I don't think I had a class in primary school or high school or university for that matter. So a lot of things we learned off the cuff. We learned from our parents, or we didn't learn from our parents, or we learned from our friends. So understanding and being financial literate is a really important thing. So coming here tonight, first good step. And then we're going to talk about budgeting because that's actually the plan to help you understand how to get from where you are to where you want to go. And then we're going to talk about this kind of hard topic about kind of living below your means because most of us need more and want more, but we can't with what we have. So we're going to have to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about getting out of debt. So that's the plan for the night. And so feel free at any time to say, hey, I learned this, I heard this. What do you think about this as we go along? So just to get a background of how well you've done or how well you've not done. So these stats from the US, basically the Bahamas, we don't have a lot of stats, just one or two I got. So 69% of all adults in America have less than $1,000 in savings, in their savings accounts. This in America. That's, if it's 10 people, 7 people have less than $1,000. America now. So what you think it is in the Bahamas? What you think? Maybe 1 out of every 10 of $1,000 or more. The average American has $2,600 in their bank accounts, and their average debt is almost $140,000. These are U.S. counterparts right north of us, people that we look up to, respect, and think they know more about money than we do. In the Bahamas, I was able to find out that 90% of us have really poor savings habits. That was in an article by our central bank. 700 million or more in non-performing loans, meaning that we borrowed money that we've not paid back. And most of us are living paycheck to paycheck. So we have a long ways to go, wouldn't you say? You have to learn some stuff, right? Yeah. There's some wonderful benefits about learning about money because when you do, it impacts so many things. So the first thing we wanted to do for us is increase our wealth. If we understand how money works, we're going to hopefully have more money in our savings account, have less debt, be able to do the things you want to do. But it also brings peace of mind. You know, when you have a bad loan, you have the bank calling you and you can't pay your bills. Or a friend of mine said work yesterday, we were just talking about this. So I went to QC, she went to SAC, and we were talking about, you know, where she could send a child to school and all this. And she was saying, boy, you know, it was so hard for my mom. She said, you know, every time school fees had to pay, I was one of them people sitting on the tree. Like at QC and SAC, they take you out of class and put you in a little corner, and everybody's know you ain't pay. Just be shamed. So we were just saying, boy, that used to be embarrassing. And I used to say to my mom, she said, I used to tell my mom, don't do it. Like, let me go to government school. But my mom said, no, I want you to be in private school. I want you to get this good education. But she said, that used to be stressful. So when you have your money things together, it brings peace of mind. When you kind of could pay your bills, you could pay the things that are important, it brings peace of mind. It reduces your stress. And stress, less stress, good health. So, you know, if you stress out, you got high blood pressure, you got diabetes, all kinds of things going on when you stress. Stress brings cancer and a lot of other things according to studies that I've read. So if your stress level is lower, you'd be in better health. So if your money is working well for you and you're doing well with your money, you'll be less stressed and you'll have better health. So wonderful benefit of doing well with your money. And that also equals to a better quality of life. Good health is a better quality of life. Savings in a bank, being able to pay your bills is a better quality of life. We agree? So we have some wonderful motivators for us to be able to look at this topic tonight and see what we can learn and move to a better place. Agreed? All right. So we want to talk about savings and we want to talk about budgeting, but you can't really talk about getting wealthy or investing unless you have savings. You need some money to invest. And you can't really get to savings unless you know how you're spending. So the budgeting is really a key component to get you to that end goal. Because you got to understand what you make, what you do with it, so you can save, and then when you save, you can invest. So those things kind of go in that order. And so we're going to talk about those in that order tonight. So budgeting, anybody know what this word means? You've heard it a lot. It's probably a bad word, you think. But actually all it is a plan. It's a plan to help you put things in perspective, organize what you get in and where it goes. So it may sound like a technical term, it may sound like something bad, but a budget really, all it is a plan. And so we could kind of take the mystery out of it and not let it be negative, and we think about it. This is something, a tool that we're going to use as a plan so that we can understand what we need to do every month to get where we want to get. So what is the components of a budget? So when you look at a budget, there's two major sides. Income, that's all the money coming in every month. Your paycheck, side gigs, I don't know, if you use plait or braid hair, or use make cakes, or use do whatever, that's the extra money coming in. And then expenses is the money going out. So these are the two major pieces of a budget. And what coming in is what you got, and how you spend it is what's going out. So we get to talk about these so we could walk away thinking a little bit more about how we have a better plan. So this here is just an expense chart that kind of itemizes all the things that you have to spend every month for most people. So it's not one size fits all. It's unique to some of us. My spending cycle would be different from yours. I have different bills from you. So it's not a one size fits all. But actually it's an item to tell you what you have to do with the money you have coming in. So, but before we spending time talking about expenses, I want to take you right here. So basically this is a rule that people around the world who consider themselves to be financial experts, they have this pie chart that they use, and they have this 20, 30, 50 rule is really what it's known as. I have changed it a bit, and I'll tell you why I've changed it. So basically what it says is 50% of your money should go to your essentials, your mortgage, your grocery, utilities, car insurance, health insurance. You see that big bucket there? That's 50%. That's where half of your money should go. And then 30% should go to these personal stuff. Vacation, entertainment, shopping, nails, hair, weave, whatever. And then you should have the 20% of savings, right? And that's your emergency fund, the payment of debt, retirement, whatever. Now I put the 10% in there because I believe you should give. And that's a personal conviction that I have. I think we make money, we should give, we should help people. Some people, church people call that tithe, other people just call it charity, charitable giving. But you have 100% of your money coming in, you split it up into these 3 or 4 buckets. Most people in the world use a 3-bucket concept. I've chosen to put in the 4-bucket concept where I have this 10% for giving. So that little 10 comes out of my 50, and I kind of contribute that to helping somebody, giving to the church or whatever. So generally speaking, my rule is a 10, 20, 30, 40. You could decide to adopt this, but basically this is what most of the world does in terms of their money on a monthly basis or weekly basis, however you get paid. So we're going to talk about these buckets and kind of figure out how we work them. What can we adjust? What can we change so that we can have more at the end of the day? Because that 20% savings, that's a critical point. You can't be financially secure if you don't have that savings bucket. Can I say that again? You cannot be financially secure unless you take care of that savings. That savings goal is paying yourself. That's you taking care of you. Okay, and that's all the things you need money for, be it an emergency fund, be it to pay off debt, be it to pay school fees, be it to save for a down payment for a mortgage. Every bit of your money that comes into that income every month should go, 20% of it should go to savings. Okay? Now there's actually, I do have a biblical concept around this 20% as well, and I'll share that with you. So we know the story in the Bible of and I just slipped my mind. Joseph, remember Joseph? Coat of many colors? Okay, Joseph had the big dream that he'd be somebody big, and his brothers sell him to the Egyptians, and then he went to jail. He went to live in part of a house, and then he interpreted somebody's dream when he came out of jail. You all remember the story from Sunday school? And when Joseph became out of jail, when he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, Pharaoh said, I want you to be in charge, the prime minister of Egypt. And he said, tell me what the dream means. So Joseph said the dream means that there's going to be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. So in life, there's always years of famine. That's when you can't work, when you're sick, when something going on, famine. When you're working and you're healthy and you're making money, that's the 7 years of plenty. So he said, so Pharaoh said, okay, now that we know the dream, what are we going to do? So Joseph said, you're going to have to put down in the good years a fifth of everything you get coming in. What is a fifth? 20%. So he tells Pharaoh for the country to survive and for everybody to make it and not die during the famine years, when we have plenty, you need to save just 20%. So that 20% go way back to the Bible times. Joseph told Potiphar for the country to make it, y'all gotta put 20% down. So that's a principle that I love because I see it work for them back then, and I've seen it work for me. So you need to consider in your head every payday, 20% of your money should be saving so that when you can't work or when something goes wrong, you got something stored away. So that's the process of this 20%. So you actually paying yourself first to take care of yourself. Okay? So when you're looking at your money coming in every month, you think 10% going to the church, 20% going to me. So guess what? I got 70% to live off. Yes, ma'am.
Should pension be included in that 20%?
It should, but if you could do more, do more. But minimally. Minimally, you should include that 20% should be all of your savings. If you could do more, of course. 30, 40%, save half. More power to you. But the minimum I'm saying should be 20% because that should help you fare well if things don't go the way you think. And things usually don't go right, the way we think, right? So let's go back to looking at those things. So the rent, the mortgage, we need that, right? Not much we could do. You need somewhere to live. So you got to pay that bill. So that's a bill you got to have. But the question I always tell people, and you have to ask yourself, do I need to be living at the level? Do I need to pay the $2,000 a month rent, or can I get something for $800? Do I need a mortgage for $500,000, or can I get a mortgage for $300,000? Do I need 5 bedrooms, or can I make it with 3? So that's the kind of questions you have to be asking yourself. You need somewhere to live, but you need to decide at what level. Now, what we like to do in the Bahamas is watch other people. Don't watch your neighbor because you don't know what they do to get that money and you don't know how they paying it. You got to do you. You got to look at your situation and you got to look at your needs. A lot of times we have mortgages and the big homes that we never ever use. We don't even need. Okay, anyone understand that? You can raise your hand. You got 5 bedrooms and you only been in that bedroom. You even been in that bedroom this week. Because you come home, like me, and you go in the kitchen and you eat, and then you go to your bed. You didn't even look around. My mommy told me the other day, she left somewhere in my family room. I said, oh, you did? She said, for 3 weeks. I was like, oh, okay. I ain't been in there to see it. So I just don't have time to go sit down in the family room because I go to work, I come home, I do eat, and then I just go to my bed, like a lot of us. We have the big yards. Do we use the yards? We let our kids play. My kids go to swimming, they go to ballet, they come home, they go do homework and go to bed. Never use the yard. But we paying a bunch of money because we feel we need this yard. We need this big yard, we need this pool, we need all these wonderful things. It's fine if you could do it easily. But if you can't, it really is okay. And that's where you have to come. It's okay. You don't use the pool, you don't need the pool. Don't pay for it. Don't kill yourself every month trying to pay that huge mortgage to have a pool because you saw it on TV on Good Housewives of Atlanta or some other program and you feel like, you know what, I love how that look, I want that. No, you gotta do you. So first lesson here is look at your rent, look at your mortgage, only do what you can do. Groceries, and I know y'all gonna be mad at me with this one because we spend plenty of money on food in the Bahamas now. Groceries expensive. Now I got the sense inflation, everything gone up. How much was eggs 2 weeks ago? Like $12, eh? Eggs. I was like, boy, you know I ain't eating no eggs because $12 for cartoon eggs. They really crazy expensive in the last couple of months. So groceries is one of those things that you have to kind of like figure out how you could save. And sometimes it's hard because some things you really need. And we have things in the Bahamas with brands. We need only Hellman mayonnaise, only Devon corned beef, only, you don't just, I buy the no-name brands, you know, I'll buy the Spanish one. I'll buy the Spanish cream. But some people don't. Some people feel like they have to have certain brands, and so we kind of rack up our bills because we need certain things that we think, you know, it's a standard. that we have to have this standard. So if it means killing ourselves to get it, sometimes we do that. But we need to relook at that because some of the things are equal. I'm not saying to buy any groceries that's subpar or not good for you, but some things are equal. It's just marketing that has made us think that they're different. So, Procter & Gamble making them all, right? My mommy's like, if they enjoy it, don't bring it home. Okay, they make palm olive too, and they make Dove, and all the dishwashing detergent made by the same company. But we have these things. It gotta be joy. It gotta be this. So that's some of the things you need to think about. Our grocery bill could be reduced if we're okay with doing some things that may not be the brands that we want. Transportation, need a car. Car insurance is expensive. We love cars in the Bahamas. We love the newest cars in the Bahamas. I see one of my students here and I gave them the story the other day. You're like, we buy cars, you go to the bank and get a loan for a car, $50,000, friendly for it. By the time you get to UB, how much that worth? Maybe not 30, but 43. I'll go with 43. So you just burn $7,000 riding from Friendly Ford to UB because it's a used car. It's not new anymore. It's depreciated automatically. So you just burned $7,000. You got a loan for that car, so you ain't paying back 50. The bank charging you probably next 15 on that, so you're paying back 65. And then how much you could sell it for? 43. So you're already in the hole. So when we're thinking about buying cars, we need to look at that. Do we need the latest, greatest, newest? Maybe not. And then, of course, we need health insurance, and health insurance is a big one. I know it's hard, it's expensive, but you need it. You just need it. I put that there, but that's an essential. Clearly, if you have health insurance at your company, they ask you to pay some. I've heard people say, they want me to pay, I ain't paying. Well, girl, it's for your insurance. If they ask you to contribute, be happy that you have the plan. So that's a plus. Contribute to health insurance and keep it. Home insurance, I was kind of wavering on this before until Dorian. So many people didn't have insurance, and what happened to them? Homeless. They didn't pay it. They didn't pay the home insurance. Dorian came. They didn't have a mortgage. They said, you know what, I ain't with a bank. I ain't got to pay this home insurance. Dorian came, and what happened? Literally homeless. So I know it feels hard and it's expensive, but some sacrifices have to be made, and that's one. If you got a house, you want to keep it insured because things happen. Okay? And of course, all the credit cards, we'll talk about that a little later. And then this personal savings piece. These are things that you could do without. So this is really this way you can save your money here. You can look at this stuff and say, I need to go on vacation every year. I ain't got to go to fish fry every weekend. Y'all every Saturday y'all out. Y'all gotta cut that down. I don't need to go shopping. Oh, Amazon online in my bed every night ordering. No, pampering. You used to get your nails done every 2 weeks. I don't want a third week, every 3 weeks. See if you can save some money. So these are the type of things that you could play with. They're not necessities. They're not essentials. Look at them and say, I am going to save. These are what I'm going to cut back on. So if you went on vacation last year, maybe you skipped this year, or maybe you do vacation at Atlantis. Save the tickets. That's fine. What is wrong with it? I'll go Exoma, do Abaco, but there are beautiful places to do in the Bahamas where we can save some money. We don't have to be in Florida killing ourselves shopping in the malls and spend up all our money. It's not vacation anyway. So let's think about a vacation. Vacation is for us to relax and wind down. So we could do some things in the Bahamas that may save us a couple of dollars. Be just as enjoyable. No, my friend said he ain't doing that. He got to go somewhere else. Well, you got to figure out where else you can cut because vacation's expensive. And some people go to the bank to borrow for vacation. Like, that means you can't afford it. You know that, right? If you got to go to Commonwealth Bank and stand on that line, Christmas and summer to take your turn away, you all can't afford it. Can I give you a reality check? You can't afford it. Vacation, if you can't write the check, you can't afford it. So if you got to get a loan for vacation, you need to consider the 242 vacation. Okay? And then, of course, we're going to talk about savings and how we get to save. So this is some of the common ways we waste our money. Like I said, we love name brand food with the grocery shopping, but we also love name brand things. Like, gotta be Gucci Poochie, Nike Mikey. We don't want no name brands. We love brands. Can we afford the brands? If you can easily, it's fine. But you know, the bag will still do the same thing if it's not a name brand. And you gotta be okay with that. Really, it's a showy thing. We want people to look at us and think well of us. That's one of the main reasons we do it. Let's just face it. We want people to say, oh, she ran Michael Kors, oh wow. People you want to impress who you don't even know, right? Who you don't even like, who you don't even care about. But that's what we do. We buy brands and we spend a lot of our money because we need to look a certain way. One of the wonderful things that I learned during the pandemic was that at home, I wasn't dressed up because I was home. So all them clothes I had, all kind of shoes dry rot. Like when the pandemic was over, them shoes was tearing up because they wasn't worn over the year. I was like, all the stuff I thought I need, shoes and clothes. You home and you home with a big t-shirt because you home with your family and they're the people who count. You don't have to impress them. So we dress up to impress other people. And during the pandemic, that was so free. And I remember sitting down in the front of the TV Easter Sunday, and I had on like some shorts and a t-shirt. And Easter Sunday, this last Easter Sunday, stressing though, what color we go wear, which hat, what shoe. You know how we do it, and everybody coordinated. I have 3 daughters, so all of us got to dress alike, and everybody got to be, you know, have this and that. During the pandemic, we was locked down. Easter, God was reversing from the grave. The main thing was the main thing. You sitting in front of the TV and you at church, and he's like, really, Easter's really about Jesus? It really about what I used to make it about? We really dressing up and buying this and cooking this. And a lot of times we make things about what it ain't about. So a wonderful pandemic lesson for me. Some of the things you think you need, we learned that we survive, right? We still here today to show that we survive. So we could be careful with our brands. We don't need to get all those name brands. And then we got some habits that has cost us to waste our money. We got plenty of casinos around Nassau. Crowded all the time. The one on Wolf Road, Boyd Road. Can't get in the yard, no time. Crowded. We wasting our money, we gambling. We in the casinos, and what we doing? Spending money. You think that y'all go in, right? Someone tell y'all go in? The number man always win. You can't win. That's the way it's set up. So if no one told you before, the gambling houses are designed for you to lose. You may win 1 here today, but you can lose 10. So don't waste your money. Habits. Drinking, smoking, and other things we can waste our money on. Habits are expensive. Habits are expensive. We agree? Habits expensive, so we gotta watch them. Eating out. That's another thing we learned in the pandemic. When the restaurant was closed, what you had to do? You had to cook, right? You couldn't eat out, but we ought to eat out 3-4 times a day. The UB students has been Wendy's 3 times a day. Spending $30 a day. Okay, that's what they do. Add that up at the end of the week. $300 on Wendy's, but that's what we do. We go to Starbucks 3 times a week, a day, some of us. Each drink is how much? $8. All our money going on food. And then we know why we can't save. Starbucks expensive. I love it, but maybe try, say, once a week or, once a month maybe. Make the coffee home. Try that. During the pandemic, what we did? Made the coffee home. Did we die? No. You had to prove that we're alive. And paying your bills on time. This is a big thing. We know we want our cable, but we still let it get turned off and have to pay the reconnection fee. We do it every month. Why do we do that? We know we want to be, we need BPL, right? When they reconnect and disconnect, they charge us. Why do we do that? Just can't we learn to just pay it? Because we know we want it and we need it. So we throw away extra money by covering the late fees. We have credit cards. Every time you late, $50 late fee. When you have a loan with the bank, every time you're late, they charge you. If the bill is due on the 10th, then you pay it on the 9th. Organize your life so you're able to do that. You pay it on the 12th. My mommy says, I paid in February. I said, well, you paid the end of February. It was due February 15th. The bank could charge you. Why they charging me like I ain't pay? I paid. But you paid late. Basic things we got to understand. You got to pay on time. You're just wasting your money. Now that we have the credit bureau, that's another topic. It's going to be important for you to pay on time because you're going to be tracked. And you're going to have something called a credit score. And if that credit score is not good, you're not going to ever get a loan. So paying on time is something we have to learn. If you can't pay it on the due date, just say they tell you to pay it on the 10th, then you go to the bank and say, listen, I don't get paid till the 15th. Could we switch my date to the 17th? They'll be happy to do it. You just got to ask. But you don't need to have a habit of being late. Past due extra $50. That money could have gone on something you really wanted to spend it on. So we got to be careful about how we waste our money. Everybody agree? So if you all have any ideas about how we can save money, let's share those ideas now.
I like what you said about negotiating dates.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that some more at some point? Like approaching financial institutions to renegotiate certain things so it works in our benefit.
And let me tell you, and I don't know why we have this attitude that the bank is our enemy. They're really not. And they've tried to demonstrate that over the pandemic. They tried to demonstrate that by telling us, you know what, we can give you 6 months of a loan vacation, they call it. I mean, you still have to pay eventually, but at least they tried to work with you. But the banks want you to come in. What we do is they call us, and what we used to. What you call me on my job for? And we cursing them. They cursing them out bad because what you calling me on my job for? We didn't get the people money. We ain't paid the bill, and they call us and we mad. We do that. We're not supposed to do that. What we should do is say, listen, I fall into hard times. Maybe my husband's not well. He's not working. He's sick. That's why I can't pay. Or, you know, I've been in the hospital and I've not been at work, so I'm not able to pay. The bank's okay with that. They will try to work with you. Maybe we do interest only. Maybe we do extend the time so that you have a lower payment at this time, but you just have to go and talk to them. They actually do want to talk to you, despite what we believe. I don't know why we feel like they're the enemy and we've not treated that relationship with respect. They do want you. They're your friend. So if you come in because they want you to pay this loan and they want you to pay it well, a bad loan write-off doesn't help them. So you come in and say, listen, here's my personal situation. Can you work with me? They are happy to. I need this loan to start my pay period. I got a new job. I used to work for government getting paid on the 29th. Now I get paid on the 10th. I need you to change my loan date that it works for a day when I can be on time. They can easily do that. It really is not a problem for them. But we don't build a relationship. We think it's an adversarial relationship. We think they're the enemy. They only want our money. But we only wanted their money. We started that, right? We went there looking for the money. So it's kind of a two-way street. But you have to work that relationship. And honestly, they do want to build that relationship with you to be able to help you work things out. So try it. Any bank that tells you that they don't want to work with you, I'm sure you wouldn't hear that. Most of them will welcome to sit down because things happen in life. You know, you think you go through stuff. You lose a job, someone gets sick, your child gets sick, accident, like something you couldn't see. You need to go in and say, and let's work out a plan. You know, don't just get mad and hang up the phone and they don't understand my situation and I ain't talking to them, and then they can show up on your job and then you can curse them out and then there's this whole, then they got to call the police for you and then you got to go to court and like, no, all we had to do was say, listen, I'm coming into the bank tomorrow, got to explain what my situation is now because I'm going to need some help in figuring out how I pay this loan. It's as simple as making that appointment and talking to the banker. So it really is something that they want to do. Any other questions like that before we move on?
I have a concern in relation to the fees. Can you speak to why? I think it's $5 or $2 other dollars for something else between a local bank in this world of, well, during the pandemic when you did a lot of online transferring, either paying the landlord or sending it to a friend or family online.
So fees included?
Yeah, like if I go from, I come with like, and I send it to First Caribbean, it's like $5, and
And bank,
Why?
well, banks are in the business of making money. So I mean, it's not a charitable organization. It's a business. So I don't agree with the extent of the fees, but they do have to charge something. I know you can save if you go bank to bank. Um, Say if you go to the same bank, I think it's fine. But they do have to charge because I mean those ATM machines cost millions. I can tell you because I worked in a retail bank before, so they're not cheap. So they have to cover the cost, staffing and all that. They have expenses as well. And like I said, it's a business, so they do have to charge you. I don't agree with all the fees, and they've been over the last couple of years. Persons have gone to central bank and said, "Why the bank fees are so high?" And central bank has tried to kind of bring the banks together. Say, "Listen, what can we do to help?" So I know the discussion has been on the table before, where they've tried to look at the fees that are charged and see if they could reduce them or reduce that burden. But you can't control that one, but you can control the late fee one. That's on you. You paying on time. All you can do is pay on the right date to save yourself that. But of course, there's nothing you can do with the transfer. You need to send money to your mom, or to pay a bill, or to pay your rent, or pay PPL online. And a lot of the utilities actually have their own websites, so you don't even have to do a transfer. You go on their website and then it's free. You just put in your card and you can pay your bills that way and it's free. So sometimes that helps as well. I'm actually going on the actual website for cable, PPL. Um, I don't know if water and sewage has it. I've never tried water and sewage, but you could actually go on. They have it as well? Yeah. So you go on their website and you save some fees by doing it that way instead of transferring it to them. So some ways to save money with the transfers, but that's a discussion that's been had at a bigger level. So hopefully we'll get some good results if they could kind of put some ceilings on the amount of fees they get charged. That'd be helpful for all us, right? And going to the ATM every time you withdraw, sometimes depending where you go, if you go to your ATM bank, it's good. But when you go to another bank's ATM, then you have to pay. So you might have to drive to get to your ATM or organize your mind so that you could just go. If you have Scotia, go to the one closest to you. Try to remember that. Yeah. And you know what it helps me? What I want to say too is that, and we in this era now where everything is swiping, right? But when you're trying to save money, sometimes you need to reduce that swiping because you feel how much you spend. You go to Wendy's, swipe. You go to Super Bowl, you swipe. Jesus, how come where my $600? Go to the bank once a week. Take out your budget. What is the budget? 300. Keep that in your pocket. And every time you pull out the $100, I can feel like something. That can slow you down a little bit. But when you swipe, you all feel like swiping this don't feel real. You know what I mean? So that's why I realized that if you got a goal and you're trying to save, boy, that's swiping. Then when you go look at your balance, well, how did I get here? So to help yourself, if you're trying to go on a path of being financially secure and you want to save, my budget for grocery, and I just did this last week, and I don't usually do this. I didn't plan to do this, but I was in Super Value, and usually when I go on the food side, I just shopping because I just swiping, so I figure I know what my balance is. I ain't worried, but I left my thing home, and I had $100, and I was counting, boy. It's like, two, because I know I get into the corner to make sure. So, and that's what we need to do. I know I only had $100 on me, so whatever I came for had the only could cost $100. So sometimes that helps you to be cognizant of what you're spending. Other times we just pushing our trolley and just picking up. We get to the top, we know we got money, maybe for something else, but we know that we can make shame because he's swiping. But I knew I only had that $100, so I was like counting in my mind, oh no, I gotta come back for that tomorrow because I can't get that now. And sometimes we have to do that. Question?
I would say, I think right now grocery list also helps in terms when you go grocery shopping. Because
Awesome.
when I don't, I find picking up things that you don't need. When you're on that list, I tick off and I be like, okay, time to go.
Good idea.
Don't go hungry.
And don't go hungry. Oh, that's a good one. Don't go to food store hungry. I like that. Uh-huh.
No, I was saying, swiping as well increases the amount of money you're gonna pay at the end of the month for service fees and government stamp duty.
It's true.
The
It's
more
true.
times you use the account,
That's true.
It's 80 cents, I think.
That's true. So some good tips there. Don't go to food store hungry. Write your list. And that's swiping every minute. I know you want to be a cashless society, and that's awesome. But if you're trying to get on a goal, you have a goal, and you want to get somewhere, you may say, my grocery budget is $300 for this month, so I'm going to take that out. And when I get the counter, I only could buy what $300 could pay for. Otherwise, I have to wait till next payday. And so that's something that could help all of us. Good, some good tips. Thank you, guys. So let me go back here. So remember now, this is the budget. So we looking at it, we building our budget, our money coming in, that's your pay, salary. And we don't get to fix that, right? Because we got our boss and say, I think I need another $10,000 this payday. We kind of stuck with our salary, right? We get that salary, it's the same every month. We know what it is. The only way we can increase that is if we have some side jobs. And that's not a bad thing. We have skills. That's another thing we learned during the pandemic. Everybody opened a business. Young people was coming up with all kind of things. So we are creative. We have things we could do. So when you look at your salary, you say, my salary is not enough. What else can I do? What else do I have in my hand? What else I could, maybe I could braid here. Maybe I could do nails. Maybe I could learn a trade. More pastry shops were open, baking, wings. My daughter had a cookie business. The days we got to go, it was all about delivering. She's making money because everybody locked down. They was happy to buy stuff. So if you have a skill, that's how you increase that income side. Otherwise, you're basically stuck with your salary. We know on the jobs that we're on, our salaries don't change a lot. We could lobby all we want. It is what it is. Find a new job, awesome. But then once you find a new job, that's basically where we're going to be for the next few years. We can't go to a new job every year. So we basically get this, we have to work with the salary that we get. The way we change that, we could go maybe get another degree, get another certification, improve ourselves. That's one way of increasing your skill set so that your boss could probably consider giving you promotion, and then you get to change that side. Or whatever other talent you have, whatever you could do, sewing. We have a lot of gifts we could do. We could find things to do. Weeding our yard, cleaning windows. There's a lot of things that we could do to make extra money. We could think about how we increase that side of the equation on the budget. Okay? So think about that. Think of what you can do to increase that side. And then we've been talking about how we decrease the expense side. So all those ideas we have about how we waste money. Write your budget and think about what I am going to spend every pay period for these various things that I need to do. And like I said on that chart, this piece, the personal expenses, you could work with. You have to look at how you can cut that. My friend said he ain't cutting his vacation, but cut some other things. Cut the entertainment. If you eat out every week, then you got to do that every 2 weeks. If you shopping, if you say you only get shop for clothes, I only buying clothes when I got an occasion. And really, I feel so sorry for you guys who Instagram and selfie people, because you all got to have a new outfit. See, I ain't taking no pictures, so I could wear the same outfit because it ain't post nowhere. But y'all don't post it. Y'all can't wear nothing twice. I feel so sorry for y'all. How do you make it? Like, you taking a selfie, you then had on this outfit, so you're like, oh my God, I cannot wear it again. How do you cope? I feel so sorry for you guys who do that. Like, I don't selfie, I don't post that much, so I wouldn't have that issue, but I feel sorry. You need to figure that out because you can't buy a new outfit every time you go out. Not every time. Yes? Every time? Well.
No, I don't buy outfits every time I go. I buy a haul of outfits. And then,
Switch them up a little bit. Make them look different.
I don't wear one. I don't wear something again.
Wow. Powerful. That's what we're talking about. Girl, you're going to have to fix that.
Yes.
I'm sure that's a huge budget item. Write down how much you spend on clothes, but you only wear them once. And all of us have little issues like that. I ain't really laughing at you because my issue is I have size 6, size 8, size 10. I have different sizes, So I just as bad, so I'm not like pointing you out, but a lot of us, we have our closet full of clothes and we have different sizes and, I can lose weight to get back in that 8. But we ain't giving that away. We know we ain't losing our weight, right? We've been trying to lose that weight. So we have some of the similar issues, but I think yours, new outfit for every occasion. Yeah, that's a lot, but we can figure out how you can save something else. You can go on a vacation. That's what you can do. Yeah. And in pampering, it's this You know, we love we hair do all the time, and we changing it. One weave, one braid, one different nails done, did whatever. That's a huge budget item. So she got an issue too. You can talk all your business tonight. So the pampering, the nails, the hair, the weave, got to see how we could fix that. And gym membership, you know, people, my friends who go to gym, I'm like, you know, I could walk for free. I could lose weight walking. Like, y'all gonna pay $200 for the gym? Fine. I walk for free. And, you know, because I paid gym membership and only gone for two days. Money waste. So I know me, that's not a good use of my money because I'm probably not gonna go for the 30 days I paid for. Probably not even 15 of those days. So let me walk when I can, and that's free. We got the scenery, Goodman's Bay, beautiful. So we have to figure this out. This is our savings, okay? So we walking away today figuring out how are we going to fix this personal side, okay? So if you don't remember nothing else, to get to the road to success, we're gonna fix the personal side and we're gonna fix some of the essentials. The 20% we staying and the 10% I think you should consider. So this 70%, this is what we're trying to work with to fix, okay? All right, and then we go to get out of debt. Now, a lot of times, a lot of our bills have to do with debt. My friend who's going on vacation, I said earlier, if you have to borrow for vacation, you can't afford it. If you have, now when we go swiping, if you're using your debit card, that's fine. That's, y'all know the difference, right? Debit card is your money. You have that. What's the credit card? You borrowing, it's their money. So when you swipe in, you need to be swiping the debit card. If you're swiping the credit card for anything, you cannot afford it. So if you go into the movies and using a credit card, you need to go watch TV home. Just saying, no, you can't, because you're getting a loan to go to the show. You can't afford it. Yes, sir?
Unless you can pay that right back. That's agreed. Unless you can pay that right back to build your credit.
All right. Unless you can pay that right back, that's a good point. If you ain't keeping no balances.
And then some people use their credit card to get points back. So they use the funds, use the credit card for everything, but they put the funds back like
right.
how he said.
Right. And that's okay. That is totally fine because basically you're not paying any interest. Once you pay that balance off within that month, you pay the bank nothing. But if you don't, 17, 18, 19, 20%. If you did the maths and you realize how much you were spending, so that movie, what you thought the ticket, how much the ticket is cost to go to show?
Five.
But the VIP is $50. Eh? VIP is what? What VIP is the Fusion? 35. So you actually, after you put that on your credit card and pay the interest, $50 for that. Okay, you thought it was 35. So, yeah. So do you have to understand, do you really want to go to movies that bad if you can't afford it? If you can't swipe with your debit card or pay with cash, you don't need to get a loan unless you like our friends in the back who really is just using it for points. Because there's some wonderful benefits. They have miles, they have points, and those things are actually awesome ways to save money as well. Because you get miles when you go on your trip, vacation, buy your ticket. So it's a good way to save money as well if you could use a card that has points. But don't pay the interest. That's the bottom line. You don't want to be paying the interest. And there are different types of cards. I use American Express because for that same reason, I have to pay at the end of the month. No, I pay no interest, but I have to pay all of it at the end of the month. And you could use your Visa and MasterCard the same way. If you pay all of it at the end of the month, you pay no interest. That's not credit. That's not debt. You're just using that facility. But when it's a charge card. There you go. But when you guys start to pay interest, you get into debt. And so you got to be careful what you get into debt for. We just love loans. There's something about us. When people, the bankers call you and say, hey, we just chose you. We want to give you a $10,000 limit increase. And we just walk away and say, boy, they like me, eh? They might stay your friend. They don't like you. They just like them. They can get money off you. You've been paying good, and they see your name in the system, boy, and they get the call, and they're so excited that the bank wants you to come in for that $10,000 limit increase. Get it? if you cannot use it or you don't need to use it. But don't get it if you could run that up, because all you're doing is burdening yourself down with debt. So debt for loans like vacation and school fees and every time we buy new furniture Christmas, those consumer debts we don't need to have. You change your furniture if you can afford it. Don't go to the bank to get a loan just because it's Christmas. Or like I said, if you can't afford a vacation, you do vacation in the 242. Or a car loan, you try to get a car, used car that you could afford. Do not just get a loan because the bank's willing to give it to you. So that top category of loans, we don't want them. The only one in that category that we want is the one for mortgage, because most of us can't save $300,000, $400,000 to get a mortgage. So that loan is a great, okay, you need a mortgage, you want to eventually be a homeowner, you get that loan for your mortgage. But all the other consumer debt that we rack up just because we feel like it, or because we like something, or because we feel we need it, you have to question, do I really need it? Can I do without it? So that's the type of questions you need to be having with yourself. Can I be okay if I don't change my living room set this Christmas? Or I don't get new drapes, so I don't paint? Christmas will be 2 days. By the time it's January 1 come, you even remember. So, I could not do it. So that's how we need to think so that we could be financially secure. Let's save that money. There are debts due to circumstances, and sometimes you can't help it. Somebody gets sick. Some person, family, child get in a situation and you need to get a loan. Circumstances you can't help, of course, if you don't have it in your savings. But if you were saving your 20%, you probably have it. But if you don't, you need to go and get a loan for circumstances. We understand that, but we want to reduce those as well. And that debt to just spending, like going to the movies, or just because we didn't have selfie with every outfit, or because we want the latest, greatest new style, that is not going to make us financially secure. We have to be able to say, if I do not have it in my bank account, or I'm not touching my savings, if I don't have it in my disposable income, it's something that I'm going to have to learn to do without. Okay? And that includes a lot of important things too. And I am not saying that this is easy. And the last time I made a presentation, I said something like, if you really can't afford to pay school fees, then send your kids to government school. Well, child, that woman nearly killed me. She's like, Miss, you want my children to go to government school? I was like, sometimes some people do well in government schools. It's okay. It really is. You can't afford to pay tuition, then what makes a difference in this child? Who? The parent, right? It's you. Your child can do well in any school if you do your part. We think it's a school. We make it about the school. But if you can't afford it, don't get a loan. Don't kill yourself. And I know that sounds really bad because some people say, education is so important, and I get that. It is. But you do it if it's easy. If it's going to cost you to never get where you want to get, then you have to be careful with that. And I even said that to people with college kids, I know a lot of people mortgage your house for the kids to go to college. Don't. Think, remember. I'm telling you, I live it with a friend of mine. He gone away to Canada, he married a girl, and he come back. She lost her house. Don't. Do it if you can do it easily. But don't just get the debt, remortgage your house, put all of your financial security on the line because you want them to go to school. Don't. If you can help, fine. If you can't, it's going to cost you to be in a difficult situation. Think twice. Don't mean you don't love them. We think we equate that to, well, maybe I had a good mommy or maybe I don't love. No, you just can't. And sometimes they find a way and sometimes they appreciate it more too. So when we go and kill ourselves, and I saw her, I watched her lose her house. He ain't come back home yet. And he promised me, yeah, I can pay this when I graduate. He ain't look back. So be careful, be careful. And I know that doesn't sit well on some people because like, boy, what kind of mommy is do that? No, you're a good mom. You really are. You're teaching them responsibility, and that's okay for you to say, I can't. If you can, do it. But if you can, if it's going to cost you to be in financial distress or to lose your security, then you want to look at that carefully. So these are the 3 buckets. You don't want to be in all of these. The ones you need to be in is the one for the mortgage probably. So if you're in debt already, to be able to save, sometimes you got to do this first. You got to get out of debt. So you have to figure out, there's two ways that are well known. One is called snowball, one is called avalanche. So the snowball says, you write down all your debt, the smallest one, put at the top, get that done. Then the next smallest one, you pack. That's the snowball. The avalanche is you put them in order of the interest rates. So the credit card is 20%. That's the highest one. You pay the highest one off. I believe preferably I prefer the avalanche because the highest one is the high interest rate that you're paying. So if you got a credit card that's 20%, you pay that at first, and then you don't get to the mortgage because that's only 4%. So that'll be the last one. So you kind of put it in the order of interest rates, or you can do the snowball where you put in the amount to balance. So the lowest one goes at the top. These are both methods that work. Whatever one floats your boat, do. Just try to get out of debt. You cannot be financially secure with debt. Debt is a loose. You see this man here? Debt is a burden. It's a loose around your neck. It really is. We used to call credit cards a red-eye devil. See? They're your friend. So you need to try your best to get out of debt. Once you're out of debt, you're going to be able to be financially secure. So ways that you could do to get out of debt, think about it tonight. Think about how you could strategize and organize your debt so that you could start using one of these methods to get to that good place. And then when you're out of debt, you could talk about saving, because you just using your money on the necessities, and you're looking at those things that you can kind of work with, that you could tweak and do less of so that you could save. Savings is key to get that 20% that we talked about earlier, that $2 out of every 10, that $20 out of every 100 you make, savings in the bank that you don't touch. This is where you want to get. Who wants to be a millionaire? I don't know, $1 million even enough now. Is that the number? No. That even in the number no more, right? Like $1 million? Boy, listen, remember we used to think that was plenty, right? Boy, listen, I've been saying I want $1 million for retirement, and I'm like, that's enough? You still want to be a millionaire, yeah. Let's just start there. But we know that may be. Let's start somewhere. Let's just start there. Okay, good. So, $1 at a time. Take care of the pennies, and the dollars could take care of themselves. You just got to start saving one payday after the next. And why do we need to save? Let's talk about that. Because we have goals. We got to have that emergency fund. Emergency fund is for when COVID come. Again, if it ever, pray God we don't live through another one. Pray we don't live through another Dorian. But I find that I used to tell people 6 months salary before. Now I eat to a year. Because Dorian and COVID last more than a year. In fact, some people still suffering with Dorian. So if you only had 6 months salary, boy, you still needed to be, you're still in a kind of rough spot because a lot of people were suffering. So I tell people now, try to have a 1 year salary as your emergency fund, where you only touch that unless some catastrophic happens. And people lost their jobs when we shut down. A lot of people in the hotel industry, they didn't work for a year, lost homes, lost a lot of stuff. If they had a nest egg that they could go to, they may have made it, but nobody had that 6 months or 1 year salary tucked away that they could say, listen, I could cover my mortgage, or I could cover my bills. People ain't had electricity for months. Same with Dorian. So the emergency fund is a real thing for us now. It used to be a theory for me. It's actually real. So you really need that. I'm saying 1 year now. If you could do more, better for you. But 6 months is really not. Just start with 6 months though. Just start there and see if we can get to that 1 year. But I think ideally the goal is to have a year salary you forget about, you put aside. Because unemployment, catastrophic events, sickness, stuff happens, life happens. And then you want to have some goals where you want to buy or eventually get a home. So you need to save, because getting a house now, the down payment is what, 20% for some banks? Boy, you need $50,000 to go to the bank and get a house. It's so hard for young people now, boy. I kind of feel your pain because When you go to the bank and they say 20%, and the house costs 300,000, and then you have legal fees and stamp duty, you need $50,000 to even approach. So,
Give it to single people, right?
oh yeah, they do. Yeah, once you qualify. Uh-huh. Yeah, some who are 5%. Anybody know who are 5% now? First Caribbean at 5%. Okay. Family Garden get 5% too? Okay, we got three with 5%. I think Scotia got 20 though. RBC is 10, Scotia's 20. Yeah. In any event, you need to have some savings to go to the bank because you need a down payment. You need to demonstrate to them that you have some skin in the game. That's what the down payment is. They're not going to ever finance you 100%. In fact, central banks set those rules and tell them not to give you 100%. They want you to invest in yourself. So the down payment is about you having skin in the game. So you have to demonstrate that you can save and that you can pay, and this is important to you. So that's why you need to save for that mortgage. So it's not just, it seems like it's just arbitrary. No, it's thought through, and that's what the plan is. They want you to demonstrate that you want it bad enough, that you're willing to save and sacrifice so that you have some investment in that house. Because the more you put in it, the longer you're going to work hard to pay it off. That's the theory behind it. Okay? And then, of course, you want to buy a car cash. Can we just say that we can all buy all our cars cash?
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's make a pact tonight. No more car loan. If I only can afford $2,000, I get the $2,000 bubble. That's all I get. If I can afford a $10,000 bubble, I get that. If I can afford a $30,000 BMW, let's get that. But we don't need to invest in cars because that's a depreciating asset is what we call it in accounting. The value goes down every day. So we want assets that the value go up, appreciating assets. So we want to invest our money in land and stuff where the value going up. Okay? Car, depreciating asset, we losing money, but every day we drive. So we don't want to invest in that. And like we say, you're on a major event, education, wedding, or whatever, you need to have savings. So we have a lot of good reasons why we have to save. And so you have to make this a part of your psychic. It's something that you think about. It's something that you have to do every payday. So some tips on savings. ASU. I don't know if they do that anymore, but that's what they used to do back in the day. Y'all know what ASU is? Young people may not know what ASU is. You can't trust no one to do ASU. Well, I raised up ASU at work and listen. That used to work for us. Fidelity has an ASU plan. Okay, so the bank's doing it now. So, credit unions have ASU? Good stuff. Awesome. And they give you interest?
Yeah, I think they give you interest on it as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you could trust the credit union more than you could trust your friends. But they seem to be a friend arrangement, a friend setup. Company plans. Some companies actually encourage you to save and retirement plans. If your company has a retirement plan and they say to you, we're going to pay 5% and we'll let you pay 10%, whatever they let you pay into it, pay it. Can I say that again?
Yeah.
Pay the highest. I hear people say, "Oh, I ain't give it." That's a false savings. They're gonna match what you pay. They're gonna give you free money. So if they're willing to give you free money, they say, you put 5, I can put 5. Believe some people will say no. I have to tell you, people pay put the highest.
What about when you were leaving your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some companies where you can get that money with a margin back for maybe 5 or 10 years. When you transition in, just like you said, you probably make a higher income. So what you do with that?
You still pay it. That money's still yours. They can keep that for you whenever you could get it. In fact, if they keep that for you, they may help you. Because if they give it a big lump, $30,000 check when you walk into the door, you think you can put that towards your new retirement plan? You probably can spend it. So let them hold that. When you need it, it's going to be there. So pay whatever your company, if your company is willing to match you in any type of savings plan, any retirement plan, you raise your hand and pay the highest. That's for savings. And when you see it coming out your pay and you don't feel it, you get used to it. So that's a good strategy as well. You get used to living off whatever they put in your bank account. You don't have to force yourself to move it to the savings account. You don't have to force yourself to pay the ISU. It's actually a help when it's already embedded and they take it out from you first. So anything you can do to help yourself like that, automatic deductions is a similar thing. You go to the bank and say, take out $500 out of my pay every payday. And they do it. I know Atlanta does it. My daughter works at Atlanta. She said, Child, I'm so glad because if they put in my pay, she need them to take that from her. So they taking that first, she don't see that, and that works for her. So if you could get your company to send it to a bank account for you, or you could automatically get the bank to automatically deduct it, that helps. You don't get to touch it, you get used to not seeing it. Let it just be saved and not account that you don't touch. And then you could have something as simple as envelopes. My grandma used to have a money envelope for everything. Envelope for light bill, envelope for grocery, envelope for this. She keep her envelopes for savings. If you have to do something as simple as that, do it. Whatever it takes for you to make it work, get the envelope system. Say, this my party and money here is. When this envelope empty, I have no more until next payday. You set up 4 or 5 envelopes. You keep them in your purse. You keep them in your drawer, wherever. You only use what's in them. Your savings one, you don't touch. So whatever you need to do to make this work, you need to come up with some strategy, but you gotta save. These are just tips. If you have better ones, happy to hear them. If these work for you, run with whatever one works for you, but you got to save. And this thing called time value money, like I asked you want to be a millionaire, right? If you start saving your very first paycheck, your first job in your 20s, and then you continue every paycheck, you'll be amazed. And you just wait. You could do it. You will be amazed how much money, to time value money, compounding interest. We don't get a lot of interest now. So really, when I started, we used to have 8% fixed deposit. Nowadays, they have what, 2%. So it's a little difficult now. But the time value money, you leave that money alone, you forget about it, you let every paycheck you get into that routine. Your first paycheck, every paycheck, and then you just wait. So you start, you gotta start. So we start next payday, right? And then we can be consistent. Next payday, we start. Next payday. And then we're gonna be consistent, and then we have some patience. We can leave it, and we're gonna wait, and we can see what happens. And this is just an example of how that compounding effect works. So this person started with $1,000 at 2% interest. They left it for 10 years, and they was just putting $100 a month. And at the end of the 10 years, they had $14,493. $100 a month. They just started with 1,000 and only 2%. And the $100, they ain't feel that. That's their Wendy's money. And after 10 years, 14,000. So it's possible, it's doable. You just gotta, like I said, start every payday, be consistent, and wait, have patience.
12 months.
No, 10 years they actually was from the investment. 10 years.
It was 1,000.
You started at 1,000, no, $10, so 100 a month. You need additional 100. You put down 1,000. And then every month you put in $100, but you do that for 10 years. Yeah. You ain't putting 1,000 a month. If you put 1,000 a month, this has been 150,000.
You put 100 a month.
Right.
100 a month for 10 years, so you're talking about 1,200 a year.
1,200 a year.
Yeah. And you compound it, interest over interest. Yeah. Whatever you could do, $100 may sound like a little bit, but people can do it and stick to the plan. 10 years, you don't touch it, you don't look at it, you just leave it there every month, you let it come out of your pay automatic, and don't touch it, you'll be amazed. Next one, this is another example. 1 second. $1,000, the same 2% for 20 years at the same $100. Got 30 grand, 31. $100 a month. Every month. Don't touch it. Leave it. It's possible. Questions? One other question?
Yeah, I have a question. I was wondering, do we in the Bahamas have the same policies as America in terms of how much money the bank's supposed to keep for like the people who deposit it in terms of like fractional reserve banking? There's only like
Capital, you have capital reserves, yeah. Central bank tells the banks, the local banks, how much money they should keep on reserve. So when we deposit our money, the bank lend out most of that to make
do you have a
money.
percentage of that, or it doesn't really?
I'm not sure, they change the capital ratio requirements over year, but they monitor that And it's a report that the banks have to give the central bank every month to say, I have my reserves. And they actually have to see that number. So the banks cannot lend out 100% of the money that they take in on our deposits. Yeah,
And
that's
I
how we
asked them-
protect the system.
Right, and I asked them because they see a lot of banks in America crashing, like as of recent,
Yeah,
5 or 6
recently,
of them crashed.
3, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people going on bank runs and they scared to put their money in the bank. So I like if that could even happen, that's what we have.
It could happen to us. What happened with the Silicon Valley one is that, oh, and it can happen anywhere because what happened was people started to say, oh, I hear something about the bank, so everybody started to withdraw. So they had to run on the bank. So that run on the bank. If a rumor start tomorrow and all y'all say, boy, I just Scotia closing down, let me go get my money. And if everybody gonna pull out their money, it's a kind of domino effect. So that could happen in any situation, and that's what happened with that. That's most of what happened with them. They had some issues because interest rates are dropping. You know, they had their money with the government. So you invest your money with the government, your surplus, and they invested it with the government at low interest rates, and the interest rates are going high. So they had this loss of their portfolio being undervalued. When they collected that money last year, interest rates was at 2 or 3%. Because of inflation, the government been raising interest rates. So you taking in this money, you paying interest at one thing, and then you only can invest it at this amount. So the banks were at a loss because their asset and liabilities were off because interest rates had gone up so high. And that's that was the beginning of that situation. But the run on it kind of contributed as well. Everybody the rumor started. Oh, I hear they're having issues, and so people just started to go and take that money out. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. I see you mentioning the compound rates and discussing the $100 injection. I'm not familiar with any investment portfolios that offer an injection of $100. I think that's a bit small, which banks.
No, this is basically all you gotta do is put your money in your regular fixed deposit and tell every month you could put 100. The 2%, all compound means is that you don't touch it, it go interest over interest, rolling over. That's all I mean. It's just rolling over. So there ain't no magic. It's not like they're investing in anything.
Just to clarify that most fixed deposits ain't do that. You have to do a mutual fund that actually make 2% or more. And most places like RF and all the Colleen and all of them are mutual funds that allow for $100 injections.
Yeah.
Mutual funds do it, but I know you. Well, I think Fidelity was paying 2% the other day. I'm not sure where they are today.
Yeah.
None of the banks paying 2% now.
The credit union's paying 2%.
The credit union's paying 2%.
No bank pay 2%. No bank will pay you 2%.
Well, actually, Fidelity was last year. I don't know where they are now. I think they may have dropped, but they were paying 2%.
Some of them are paying 1% now.
Some paying 1%, some paying half, but I don't know what the CFAL and Fidelity mutual fund rates are. Anybody know? They may be
It's around 3. It's around 3.
3?
Yeah.
3%?
3%. Yeah.
It's hard to get a good interest rate now. These times have been difficult, but
3%.
3% of CFAL.
A little over 3% CFAL, yeah.
CFAL 3%? 4%.
Close to 4%.
So close to 4, yo. That's CFAL for 4%. So, and you can put $100 every month. You can do it. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Yes. So you can do it. Y'all heard that. Y'all could go to CFAL and they have that opportunity to share. The banks may not. You thinking the banks won't allow you to add to your deposit? If it's a fixed deposit, if it's rolling over every month, you could add. If it's a monthly fixed deposit and it's paying you 2%, you could roll over every month, add 100. You could do that. But now if it's a year, you can't tell the maturity date. But it's possible. And we've heard that. Any other questions? Any other?
Is our money insured?
Yeah, 250,000.
Oh, really?
Deposit insurance, yeah. So if you got 300,000 in the bank and the bank go belly up, you only get 250 back. So, but the commercial banks have to have insurance. Now I don't know about the investment houses, but the 7 commercial banks have to have deposit insurance, $. Yeah, and it's only for one deposit. So if you have 2 or 3 in the bank, just one. So it's a little bit secure, but you know what? If you think about what could go wrong, boy, you really would be stressed because when you look at, yeah, put your money under your mattress, right? And then a fire comes and a house get burned down. You know how much money I heard people say that people in Abaco had that washed out to sea? People kept money home and they just didn't have bank accounts, some people, and the money just washed out to the ocean. So stuff happens, but we can't live in that space. We can live in a space of hope where we can try our best to work with what we have, do our best with what we have, so that we can be financially secure. So that's our goal. Any other comments or questions before we end? Time is up.
One question. You touched on saving for a mortgage, but outside of just saving, what else does the bank look at? Outside of just a down payment?
So the bank looks at a down payment. Good question. If you're gonna get a mortgage, I mentioned a credit bureau. So I don't know if you all realize that in 2018, the government of the Bahamas passed credit bureau legislation. The credit bureau went live in 2020. Everyone's gonna get a credit score. They already have a credit score for you if you have a loan. So any bank that you have a loan with or a credit card with, they've already developed a score on you. So when you approach the bank the next time, they're gonna ask you if they could get your credit report, and you say yes, and then they go to the credit bureau and they pull that report and they look at how well you've been paying your bills. So in addition to the down payment, you're gonna have a credit score. And then you need to have a job, and I think most banks want 2 years, but I've heard banks kind of like willing to adjust. If you've been in a job a year or a year and a half, they may waive that 2-year requirement. So you need a down payment, you need a good credit score nowadays, and you need to have a job, demonstrate that you can pay. So I teach credit analysis, and there's 5 C's of credit. So those 3 are the C's. So the other one would be collateral, meaning that you maybe let them hold the house or the car. For character is if you're gonna pay. Yeah, so that's the credit bureau doing that for you these days. Before the bank just actually assess you to determine how well you're gonna pay. They ask you questions, but the credit score now is a demonstration of how well you're gonna pay. So they're not gonna leave that to chance. They were always risk rating you. That's not new. But the difference now is that Scotia may have you risk rated as A, First Caribbean is C, Bank of Bahamas is D. Who else? Fidelity is a C. So you have all these different credit ratings. The credit bureau, that same score, everybody will get. So the bank decide, well, do I want to give somebody a score who's 200? Or maybe I'll give them a 200, give them a loan, but they'll have to pay a higher rate because their credit score is low. So it's kind of something that levels the playing field for all of us. If you pay on time, your credit score will go up. If you don't have no write-off, and you don't run from the bank and don't duck and don't default on your loan, your credit score will be high. When you go to the bank, they'll be able to say, okay, she's a credit score 400, happy to give you this loan. And I'm hoping that it gets to the point where, I'm 400, I think you need to lower this rate. So I can negotiate with the bank. That's what I'm hoping it gets to, where they want me because I have a good credit rating and I can negotiate my rate. Now, we're not there yet, but hopefully. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't speak up. Yeah. We have to learn, be confident, and be able to ask. They can only tell you no, right? Yeah. And actually, on the employment piece, they're going to be using credit reports for that too. So when you go on job to jobs, could say, could you get your credit report? I want to see if you could pay, because they want somebody with character as well. Yeah, that's built into legislation. They could ask you for credit score. Mm-hmm. It's built into legislation, but the job could say, can I see your credit score? You know how they could say, can I get a personal reference?
Okay.
You need a personal reference, they could say, we want a credit report.
I mean, that would be certain types of jobs, not any job.
Any job could do that. Any job could ask for a reference, right?
No, but for the credit?
Yeah. Jobs ask for what they want. You want to work for me? I want a credit. I want a personal reference, or I want a financial reference.
Yeah, I just say influence, money wise.
You said
So 1 second, we have a question on the floor. You have to be one learn from everyone.
I just want to follow up on one thing you said. You said if we get a mortgage, you have to have a job. What if you're self-employed? What do they look at?
And see, self-employment is kind of, and I always tell people this, so if you're self-employed, one, you have to get into the habit of depositing your money every day. If you're a taxi driver, go to the bank every day, even if you withdraw it. You have to demonstrate that you're making money. And people who work for themselves, you know what they do? They just take the money to the cash register and pay the bill. And you can't prove to anyone that you're making money. So I always tell self-employed people, you have to get in that habit. Please, go every day, and if you make $100 driving a cab, put that in the bank. If you withdraw 90 as soon as you come out, that's fine. But let them see you making money, because that is going to be your job. That's going to be a pay. They pull that statement, you see, I made $300,000 this year. Oh yeah, I spent $295. That don't matter. But you made $300 because you deposited every day, every week, whenever. And self-employed people do not do that well. They pay their bills. And you could say to the bank, well, you know, I must be making money if I pay my mortgage. Yeah, but they don't have no proof.
Right.
You have to demonstrate that proof, so that's why that habit is important, to pay consistently, depositing the money. That statement becomes your job pay slip. You got a question,
Yes, I just want to know, going back to the credit score implications, where can I find that information that says that an employer will be able to check their...
So you just Google right now, Bahamas laws, credit bureau
Okay.
regulation, and it'll say that they envision that they can use the credit report for tenancy. If you want to rent an apartment, the landlord could ask, the employer could ask. They have all that built in the legislation. We're not doing it now, but it's
No, I know.
it's built in.
So would they have to have approval, written approval?
You can't, no one can get your credit report without your approval.
Okay.
Yeah. The bank can't get it without your approval. So if you go to the bank tomorrow and they want a credit report, you have to sign. That it's okay for them to release it. No, that's built into the law too.
Okay.
Nobody can get it without your approval. Yeah.
How can you get your own credit score?
So the government has built into the law, again, you get a free one once a year. The credit bureau, you can go online, and actually they're in the building right opposite Trish Fried at Dawkins Dale House. You could go and get your one credit score, one report annually free. But you can get anytime you want to pay. But you can get a free one a year.
In terms of small businesses, would you, like you said, it's important to just deposit the money. Would you say that would be like a requirement in terms of if you want to get a loan for a small business?
For sure.
Do you have any other requirements that you would say?
Well, one of the C's is proven that you have the capacity. And money, the bank, your job letter is a capacity, or your deposit is your capacity. So the bank wants to see that you have capacity to pay back. That's one of the C's. So you have to be able to demonstrate to them that that's your pay, that you're making money. So as stupid as it seems, if it's $10 a day, put that in. And if you take that right back out immediately, it doesn't matter. But them credits coming in is what they're going to look at to say what you've made in that year. So everything you deposit, everything, and then you pay your bills as you wish.
Say you've been approved, you just want to buy a piece of land, you've been approved. How far into the loan for the land could you start building? Could that build enough collateral to use to now put your home on it?
So if you're building out your pocket, you could do that immediately. But now if you want to go back to the bank, they want to know that you have equity. So they're going to revalue that property and see how much equity you have in, and see if they'll give you more money to get the loan.
So 5 years wait, 2 years wait?
It could happen as quick as 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And depends on how fast you, so sometimes, and I always encourage people, I didn't say this earlier, but if you have a mortgage, the mortgage payment is $1,000 a month, you have an extra $100, put it on that mortgage and go to the bank and say, principal only. You will be amazed how you knock down that mortgage. And if you could get the bank to split that $100 into 2 $500 payments, you cut off a couple of years. No, the payment is $1,000, but you pay on the 29th. You ask the bank to say, I want $500 on the 15th and $500 on the 29th. And they hit your principal payment twice in that month. It's declining balance. you will see a big difference. But you have to get the bank to agree with you to do it, and they have to want to do it. It's just a little extra effort for them. So you have to say, I need you to do this. Because them hitting your appointment twice in 1 month reduces the amount of interest you owe. You'll be amazed how you knock off and how you save money by paying less. Save time. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I know with the banks they usually do the salary deduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how likely is it for them to say try to push that salary deduction on the customer, especially like from like myself, right? I work for government, and so they want you to do salary deduction and not actually come in to pay the mortgage over the loan.
Salary reduction, they want that because they want to know that they get your money first, right? That's the security for them. But I mean, you could opt to say, well, I don't know how you do it with government because you only get paid once a month. So if you couldn't say, well, let's split my payment in half because salary is going to come on the 15th and the 29th. That doesn't work for government people. So the only way for you in that situation is to say, you know what, I'm going to have an extra $100 to go myself on the 15th and put on my principal. Because you're only getting paid once. People who get paid twice, it's easy for them to do that because they have 2 times when they get money coming into their account. So it kind of works easier for those types of persons' jobs. But the $100 extra a month, I did it. So I could tell you it works. The people in Bahamas used to laugh at me. Girl, you in here again? Yes. I cut off 8 years of my mortgage. Putting a little extra every month. My regular payment go, and then I go to the bank, and I need this $200 on my principal only. I was in my head thinking, this 20-year mortgage, my daughter going to college, and this year I need to not have this mortgage at the time. And so I was working with that in my head, so I knew I needed to cut those years down. So a little extra, I put it on a mortgage, and I was able to do it. You'll be amazed. You just cut it aside. So I just left Kentucky. $100 a week.
Hey, just want to clarify one point. The gentleman over there asked about deposit insurance. We want to clarify it's $50,000, not $250,000. I think like in the States for banks.
The banks in the Bahamas is only 50?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, like $200. Don't put it in.
No, man, I think it's, no, you sure? I thought it was 250. Actually, we could Google it. Yeah, we could check it. Yeah. I think it's 250 actually. We could check for you. Put your 50 then. Get your 50. Put your 50 in the bike. Yes, sir?
So I know this one come down to preference, right? But I know we have this thing, a lot of Bahamians like to fill out a pocket.
Uh-huh.
And burn up the cash reserves instead of going to the bank and letting them mortgage it. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think you should, I mean, if you have the cash, maybe inject a bit and then let them do the rest, or?
So most people that I've seen build out a pocket, it really takes a long time unless you have a lot of money. If you have the money to do it quick, if you're going to take 20 years to pay a mortgage and you're going to take 20 years to build out a pocket, same thing almost. But if you have the money and you could do it quickly, if you could build out your pocket and do it in 3 years, I would suggest. But if it's still where you still have to wait till you get 2,000, 3,000, and it takes you 20 years to finish the house, then you might as well have gotten that mortgage so you could live in it and pay that mortgage off and hopefully pay it off early. If you can do it in 3 years, I would say, build out a pocket. But if you're going to take the same 20 years that the mortgage is going to take, then it might not be as worthwhile. Any questions before we wrap up? One more question before we end. Well, if you have no more questions, we thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you being here. Like our president said, this is our first event face-to-face. So we're going to be here for the next 2 weeks doing some other wonderful stuff around money and finances. So we encourage you to come out, bring your friends, and we hope that this has been beneficial, and we hope the other two will be beneficial.
Sorry, one last question. Can you provide us with the presentations by email?
You all gave your email address to y'all registered?
We registered.
Okay, I can if y'all did. Yeah.
Michelle. That was a very good presentation. I hope everyone was able to learn something tonight. Thank you all again for coming. Next week, we do actually have a very interesting presentation. The topic is investment opportunities for Bahamians. So I know a lot of the questions tonight were leading to what to do with your money and whatnot. So next week, please come out. We have a very interesting format next week. It'll actually be a panel where we have experts in cryptocurrency, real estate investing, and traditional investments, so stocks and bonds and mutual funds and whatnot. And then the following Thursday, we have a session built, specialized for entrepreneurs and what you need to know to start a business and getting funding and whatnot. So next week, Thursday, and the following Thursday, same time, same place. Thank you and have a good night.